Hi, welcome to SideBar The Show. We're here live at Tall Pines Festival with Spencer Burton, who perfectly crafts his country melodies and songwriting into such heartfelt lyrics and has put out such a lovely discography of music. Just a very talented musician all around. So
It's very kind of you to say. Do you have like a teleprompter screen in your eyeball? Like, how did you say that so well?
I've been doing this enough times
Okay,
that
that's nice. That's
I
very
like
nice.
to start off by making my
you
guests feel
already-
as good as they should for the music that they
I'm-
create.
You made me feel very nice. That's very sweet of you.
Perfect.
Thank you. This is great.
So we're here tasting out Dylan's cocktails today. I've got a Manhattan. He's got a martini. So cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
This is great. I'd like to just before we start this interview, say that the only reason I'm wearing sunglasses is because I've been wearing sunglasses all day, and I didn't want to take them off and have those the two nose dots. Didn't want to do it. So
for the record,
yeah, I'm not like a sunglasses in an interview kind of
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
I feel I'm not that cool.
I'll put a disclaimer.
Mhm.
He is not a sunglasses. I'll preface it.
Spencer Burton
Warning.
is definitely not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, that-
So my first question for you, I know that you ended up meeting Dallas Green when you were around 15.
Maybe I said that just in an interview
In
at
an
some
interview,
point, but
you-
I actually didn't meet Dallas till I was in probably my early 20s.
Okay, because I also heard a story that you changed the story about
Oh,
how
okay.
you've met Dallas
Which is
several
cooler.
times,
Is
and
15
eventually there'll be dragons in it.
I think that when I was younger, I think it's a lot more fun to just make up crazy stories
Right.
in interviews. I
Yeah.
still do believe that, but sometimes when I meet someone as honest and kind and complimentative as you, then I feel like I want to be a little more honest.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So the story I've heard is
Okay.
you and Daniel Romano were at one of your gigs wearing leather jackets, and he comes up to you and says, "You guys should be in a band."
Okay.
Is that an accurate story or is that a fictional story?
I think that probably happened.
Yeah.
I don't. In my old age, I have a hard time remembering anything past 6 hours ago.
Right.
So I think that is probably true.
Gotcha.
Because as you say it, I remember having heard that before.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Maybe you said it and it came back to you with someone else saying, and you were like, "Oh
Maybe.
yeah, that does ring a bell."
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me about, I guess, touring with Dallas for the first time when you were in Attack in Black and he was in Lights on Fire, and kind of coming together with your music now that you're here together again years later?
Oh, I think not only Dallas or Dan or myself or anybody involved in that kind of Southern Ontario music scene, that it's not really it's just friendship, right? And it's nice to be able to carry those friendships on into a world like this, which is for me anyways, is something incredibly passionate and incredibly soulful and just meaningful. And so I guess the short answer to what I'm saying is it's great, being able to music there's times where you don't see the people you love for very long times, right?
Right.
And by people I love, I mean like the other musicians who I've been involved with for so many years, but it's nice to be able to come back and see each other after having not seen each other for many years and just be like, oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we're fine. It's like it's this eternal love and this eternal friendship between. I think music really bonds people together.
Yeah.
And it just whether it wants to or not, it happens.
So have you found your music friendships that you've made through writing and creating music with people have maybe stuck together stronger than other relationships?
Oh yeah, I mean, I want to make an analogy about making love, but I think music is just a very passionate thing, and it's a very emotional thing. And if you
Yeah.
can create that with somebody, it's like making a baby, right?
Right.
It's like it's something that you will hold very dear until the end of your days, right? Like it's
Yeah.
an important thing.
No, I definitely feel that way. I feel like music brings people together. That's the big tool of music and art, and I think that's why we're all here today.
Mhm.
So, fantastic. So my next question for you, I know you were doing a live recording in studio I believe in your dining room,
Yes.
and you had a dental emergency,
That was
but
a-
you had to just play through it.
That was a wild one. So I was we have a little camp up near Sault Ste. Marie, very far from Niagara where
Yeah.
I live, and I often go up there to spend time alone and do some writing and just kind of,
Yeah.
just become, just find peace through nature, I guess. And I was up there, and I had a sip of a Pepsi,
Oh,
Something I don't do too often. I had a sip of a Pepsi, and my face just lit up like something was going on there. And I don't know if I do know what happened in the long run, but it was just a poor tooth situation in the very back of my mouth. That I mean, I'm an old man, these things happen, and so I kind of drove back down to Niagara in a panic, trying to figure out how to remedy this situation. Like, dentist offices aren't open on the weekends.
No.
But regardless, I had to be home because I had a crew coming over to the house to do a bunch of live recordings.
Can't delay a full crew.
Yeah, I just fought through the pain, and we recorded four songs, I think, on the farm that day, live recordings.
Yeah.
And actually, one of those recordings ended up making
on
it
the
as
album.
the last song of the album, because so when I went down to Nashville to write this album, this Northwind album, I had the song called Goodbye, which was, for me, it's a very touching and emotional song. It's a song about growing old, and a song about, watching your children kind of become you.
Hold your hand at night, tell you that there's none to fear.
And I wanted that song to sound as 90s country as humanly possible, which is what I told my friend Andrea, who also produced the record, and he was like, yeah, we can absolutely do that. And we did. It sounded exactly like a 90s country song, but like a lot of 90s country songs, it sucked. So I was like, oh no, this is a little too 90s country shit. And it just wasn't hitting me right when I heard it at home. So we did these live recordings of songs, Goodbye being one of them. And I was sitting on it, and one of my dear friends, like a brother to me, a fellow named Jordan Derbyshire, out on the
Shout out.
Yeah, he's a good guy, out on the west coast of Canada. I sent him the album, and he's like, it's really great, man, but that Goodbye song, there's something off about it. I was like, yeah, I know, because it sucks. And and he was like, what you need to do is like do it acoustic, I think. And I was like, what do you think about this? And I sent him that live version, and he was like, this is it. And I was like, I think this is it.
And now you've got this story, like, the song has this pain kind of engraved into it.
True, because I was in literal pain when I was singing it. That's true.
Exactly.
Worst moment of my life. Luckily, I got in for some emergency dental surgery the next day.
And
got that thing pulled out of my face.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, it's wild how that works. Like, it's like you have this tooth in your face, and it's making you hurt so much, and then somebody rips it out of your face. You'd think you'd hurt more. Yeah. But you just feel instantly better.
Yeah.
God, the human body is a miracle. Dentists do something. Shout out dentists. Shout out George Liu.
Yeah.
Came in and saved me. Thank you.
That's a very big shout out. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go into this bit where we call Backstage Pass, where I went backstage on your social medias, your Instagrams, and tried to find a photo that I'd like some more explaining for. Okay. I went with this one. Can you tell us a little bit about this photo right here?
That photo there? So that... It's a fun photo.
It is a fun photo.
Many years ago, many years ago, I had, he's still a dear close friend of mine. His name's Stephen Lamke. He played in the band The Constantines, and he, for many years before currently putting out records right now as Stephen Lamke, he was putting records out under the name Baby Eagle. And I used to have a moniker as well called Grey Kingdom.
Yes.
And him and I were doing a Halloween show together. Where was it? It was somewhere in Ontario.
Yeah.
And it was this beautiful museum, and it was a very quaint show.
Like night at the museum.
Yeah, and I love dressing up, so I dressed up as a ghost. It was very fun, and then Steve, a few weeks prior, had asked if I would come up and play guitar on a song with him, and I said sure. So, unbeknownst to him, I ran down. I had brought this costume with me, a leather gimp mask and a tight leather Gimp suit,
right?
And
which you all just had lying around, of course.
Well, no, actually, I went out and bought it specifically
for this
performance. So I went out and bought that, had it ready for the concert. When he went up, I ran downstairs into the bathroom, put the Gimp suit on, and I went up on stage in that Gimp suit and played.
Unbeknownst to him,
he didn't know, and he was so incredibly unimpressed. He was so unhappy because it's like, in my mind I just thought it was a funny suit, but in his mind there was a lot of sexual innuendos involved in the suit.
Yeah.
And
maybe you were showing
there was kids and families there and stuff, and in retrospect, looking back, I was like, that was probably a weird thing for me to do.
Right.
But would I change what I did? No. I am who I am.
And it's why we're talking right now.
Yeah, we're talking about what I did many years ago.
Perfect.
In poor taste.
So my next question, speaking on the kids front, you've said that performing to kids is almost harder than performing to adults.
100%.
Because their attention spans are a little bit less. Yeah. Can you tell us about some of those performances specifically for kids?
It just feels a bit different. Sorry, you can you can tell a long-winded story with a punchline for adults and they enjoy it. You can sing songs for adults and they enjoy it, but kids, there always has to be something more, I find. So, it's like there has to be a lot of audience participation and a lot of calling up on the stage, and
maybe a special costume made fully out of leather.
Right, it's like a full Gimp suit. That's what the kids want these days. No, it's very I just find it's very mentally taxing to perform for kids. You got to be this very impressive force to have kids like be excited.
I guess it proves how important the Wiggles and those bands were to keep the attention.
My greatest children's concert that I've done for the Mountain Man album, right?
Yeah.
The kids album was. There's a great festival in St. Catharines called Cicada Fest, put on by a guy named Eric Dixon, who's here actually.
Yeah.
And he asked me to do a kids performance there, and we did a main stage kids performance, and I brought my entire farm with me. I brought ducks and chickens and rabbits.
That's amazing.
All of this cool stuff, and the kids love that. Actually, a little too much to the point where I was like, you guys don't even care that I'm playing music right now? Right. But it was keeping them occupied.
It was more of a petting zoo with you on the side.
They were very excited on seeing all that kind of stuff. And I've done children's concerts since where it's just me playing songs, and I've kind of figured out how to do it, but it's definitely incredibly difficult. But I think that kids, they deserve to be entertained just as much as adults do. So there is and entertained with something, in my opinion, not I hate to call my music important or special, but that kids album was it's music for children that adults can listen to, and it's like I think that's tough
very
thing with
meaningful.
kids music. A lot of kids music just makes you want to jump out the window of your car. It's very it's a lot.
For years I tortured my dad with some bad music, but then he made us kids mixes, which we're trying to do exactly that.
Yeah. So I tried to make this. The story actually goes as my kids never showed too much interest in music actually, like a little bit here and there, and they knew that I play it, but when they were very young, I had been upstairs at my home and I had heard them downstairs listening to music on the record player, and I was so stoked. I came down to see what they were listening to, and they were listening to Wet Ass Pussy by Nicki Minaj, and I was like, well, this can't be.
Maybe not on the record player then.
Well, I mean, the Alexa's hooked up.
Exactly.
To it, right?
It's all
comes
the same
thing,
sound
but
system. I agree.
I was like, this can't be. So, I was like, what skill set do I possess that could possibly remedy this?
Right.
And I decided to write them songs about specifically things I knew they were also interested in: Mother Nature, the outdoors, stuff that we all kind of connect together.
Yeah.
And
especially as a family, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly.
With the hobby farm,
and we do all this stuff. So I wrote this, album of 6, 7, 8 songs. I can't remember, but we did that, and it was primarily for them. For my kids. My wife was running a home daycare at the time for those kids. It was like just for in the house. I would do little performances in the living room. And I think my wife posted a video on Instagram or something, and my record label, Donnellan Records, caught wind of the fact that I'd written these songs. They were like, dude, let's do a kids album. I was like, fuck, okay.
All right.
So, we recorded those songs in Welland, Ontario, in my friend's parents' basement. Actually, we went over to their house. It's where the old Attack in Black studio used to be.
Right.
And, I got, Ian Romano from the band I just mentioned, who also plays with his brother Dan now, and I got their father to play on the record as well, and we just had some fun and did some kids songs, and then I put out a kids record. And
it seems like a true family gathering.
It was
too.
nice. Yeah, it was nice. I keep wanting to drink this microphone. It's like it's right in the way. But
great. So on the topic of the kids album, I know you also authored a kids book. With the illustrations.
It's essentially just the lyrics from the song The Mountain Man, which is the title track of that kids album.
Gotcha.
And my sister, who's an incredible artist, she just
we'll throw up the illustrations because they were beautiful.
Her name's Jill Burton on Instagram. She's The Painted Planet. You can find her. But yeah, she's just an incredible artist who doesn't really understand the technological world. So she did these giant, beautiful hand paintings of like all the illustrations you see in the book, and then we had to ship them off and get them scanned and done up digitally and stuff. But yeah, she's an incredible artist, and she did all that. So yeah, definitely check out her stuff if you have a moment. It's very good.
So my next bit we do is called Concrete Jungle Wing Street Tomato.
Okay, so many words.
So many words.
Yeah.
What is that? It's a misheard song lyric. Concrete Jungle, Where Dreams Are Made Of.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you one misheard song lyric that either you've had or a friend has had that you've made fun of him for. Any misheard song lyric. It doesn't have to be your music. Could be any music.
That's a tough one for
me. It is.
Because oftentimes the music I listen to is accompanied by a lyric sheet,
Right.
right? So like I listen to the majority of my music that I listen to it on vinyl.
Yeah.
And vinyls always come with like
With
a nice
the
lyric
books.
sheet and books and stuff. So most of the time I'm sitting there like a child with my legs crossed, enjoying the songs, listening to the lyrics, deciphering the lyrics. But I will say that I'm for sure guilty of like legitimately thinking, like not just because the world thinks, but like legitimately thinking that the Tiny Dancer was Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza.
Oh, that's one we did on the show a while back.
Legitimately,
That's one of my favorite misheard song
I never
lyrics.
grew up listening to that stuff. I was growing up listening to punk music
Yeah.
and hardcore music, and when I moved to Ontario in like 2000, I started meeting new people, and there was this very big like kind of classic rock scene that everyone was in, like Elton John, The Who, like all
For
these
sure.
bands that I never even heard of ever.
Yeah.
I never listened to growing up, and I remember going to parties and being like, I was like, this song's pretty okay.
Yeah.
Fucking singing about.
Yeah,
Tony
why do they care so
Danza.
much about Tony Danza?
Yeah, I legitimately thought that.
Yeah, Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza is a beautiful example.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good
Perfect.
example. Sure.
All right. So it seems like you've had, quite a beautiful beard for some time now. And
Do
I did.
I?
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh, no.
dude. It's there.
But I did find a time where it was significantly shorter.
Okay.
It was more of a goatee look. This
Oh,
guy right
okay,
here.
so this was just a joke. It was.
This was just a joke.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this was
Great
very.
photograph.
Yes.
God, man. No, I had a beard, and then I just decided to shave it at some point in my life.
Right.
It was for something. I actually think I was doing some like prosthetic makeup stuff with a friend or something. But when I shaved it, I was like, well, I should do a gross goatee before I finish off the whole thing.
Right.
Which I did.
Gotcha.
Because goatees are gross.
So that
Don't
will
have a
never. That was a
goatee, please.
joke. It will never go back
Yeah.
there. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Uh,
that was just a joke. I was
yeah.
not.
As no,
No one wants to look like that photo.
I was like, maybe it was like you're testing out a new style,
No,
seeing
God,
what it would
no.
look
That
like.
looks like I look like a bad man.
All right.
Like a very bad man. In that
You
photo.
didn't look too happy. You're definitely a very smiley guy.
Yeah.
So seeing that was
Yeah.
very, maybe like you'd made a mistake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd like to talk. I know you're very passionate about your Portuguese water dog, Dandelion.
She's the best.
She sounds like the best.
She's the best dog.
I'd
She'll
love
get into
to-
stuff sometimes. She'll do some bad stuff. You
Yeah.
know, she loves rolling in dead animals and chicken poop.
Yeah.
She will sometimes, if I'm not paying attention, eat all the stuff. But I would say 98% of the time she's unbelievable. And she is one of, even as my friends go, she's probably one of my closest.
Right.
She's there for me.
And
I'm there
she's
for
been
her.
an inspiration, I guess, to some of
Yeah.
your songs as well.
Well, I had a terrible. I mean, it's so tacky to say I had a dream, but I had a dream once, and in that dream I lost Dandelion.
Yeah.
And that's where that song kind of came from.
Right.
The idea of losing someone so
Right.
something.
Your
an
best
animal,
friend.
Your best friend. So
Your
close.
best
She's
friend.
an incredible animal. She's so passionate and so kind, and just like so. She's a little jealous. Like if I go to hug my wife, she's like growling.
Yeah,
She
right
gets up in
there.
there and separates us, and it's like she's sweet though.
Yeah.
She's an absolute doll.
Fantastic.
Shaved her myself for the first time the other day.
No
It was a
way.
nightmare. I
No, it
understand
didn't-
why
didn't go well.
groomers
Groomers?
charge $100
Yeah.
to do that shit because it was a nightmare.
It was
just getting
Bad haircut?
No, it was a fine haircut. Hard to get. I mean, I used
so
to-
difficult for you to do. It was a fine haircut in the end.
yeah, it was okay. It was just like but I also did her with like a $25 beard trimmer that
Right.
I bought 10 years ago and never used. Right, like it wasn't like professional equipment,
Yeah.
but her legs were still a little shaggy.
Yeah.
but, like, it wasn't bad.
All
It
right.
was okay.
I feel like maybe you're not giving yourself enough credit.
It was just when they don't care and they start rolling around in the tub in their own hair. And
Yeah.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, please. I need like
need to
one
finish
more
this.
minute of
Yeah.
this. It took me 4 hours, but
4 hours.
it was a
Yeah.
nightmare.
So maybe worth the $25 an hour.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. So my last question for you. I know your wife does the Friday Child's Vintage.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear about your involvement in that and how that came to be. It seems like such a beautiful shop.
It's a great passion of both of ours. It started actually as kind of like a passion project between friends. So there was 5 of us involved. Myself, my wife, my friend Kenny, my friend Kristen, and my friend Dan. And we all just like had accumulated so much cool shit over the years.
Yeah,
from
you must.
touring. It's like kind
For
of like it
sure.
was all of our hobby.
Right.
We were touring, right? That we would stop,
Get new
go thrifting,
clothing.
go to vintage stores, do all
Exactly.
this stuff.
All over the world.
Yeah, I think we all have a very deep appreciation for that stuff, and but slowly, one by one, we all got busier and busier, and like we all started dropping out of the store until it was just my wife and I, and now yeah, it's like a kind of a 50-50 thing, really. But we both work very hard at it, and it's just like a nice space to go. People hate my shop a lot sometimes because I have so many awesome things in there.
Yeah.
And they're just mine. It's like I'll have like $1 million price tag on like a cool shirt.
And it's just
because
yours.
because I don't have space at home. It's like
Yeah,
my kids
it's
and
your
wife,
closet.
They've taken care over everything. So like all my nice show clothes and cool t-shirts, I just keep them all at the shop.
So someone comes up and is like, "Hey, how much for the shirt?" You're like, $1 million. Like, no, that must be a mistake.
Yeah,
This
no, it's $1 million.
No, $1 million.
You want that? It's $1
If you
million.
want it,
Yeah. But
you got it.
Yeah, it's a great place to be though. It's
Awesome.
a nice little space. I get to write a lot of music there too, which is nice.
That's
It's a
fantastic.
Nice little space.
That'd be a cool spot to record. I feel like a video with all that. That background was beautiful when I saw it.
We have toyed with the idea of starting to put on little concerts in there for friends who needed that extra little night of a gig or whatever. Just like holds 25 people maybe, but eventually, getting some cameras and setting it up and like recording them doing live stuff. It'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad to hear. So that's it. I'm so happy to come in. If you want to look at any of the cameras and kind of say what you got going.
Yeah, tonight. Well, I guess no one's gonna see it because you got to edit it later on. But yeah, tonight I'm playing here, but you're not gonna know that. Yeah, I don't know. Life is good.
They'll see a clip of it at the end.
Yeah, that's all I can say. Life is good, and the world is beautiful, and it's filled with beautiful people.
Just like you.
Well, seeing that picture of me with a goatee makes me think otherwise. It's fun. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming in.
Definitely.
Appreciate it.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
100%.
And good luck on your show.
Thank you.
When good morning breaks on the acre, where there comes a light I've never known, and the wind bends leaves like people seeking answers, and the clouds roll on like whispers of the tongue. There's a kettle on the stove singing praise, and the smell reminds of campfires and old. There's an old clock ticking to its own time, sending cattle around fast that time don't go. I miss the farm life, I miss my home, I miss the sunshine, fades when I'm home. I miss a broken song, that old waking tone. Yeah, I miss the farm life, I miss my home. Allie Corbett on the violin, everybody. Oh, the soft touch of your home in the evening brings the warmth inside the home that breaks the cold, and the pattern of footsteps on the hardwood brings elation that's no different from finding gold. I miss the farm life, I miss my home, I miss the sunshine, fades when I'm home. I miss a crow song, that old waking tone. Yeah, I miss the farm life, I miss my home. I miss the farm life, I miss my home. I miss the sunshine, fades when I roam. I That song goes out to my turkey, Lenny.